JAMIE Dornan, hello, welcome. Is this your first time on Off the Ball?
First and last time, yeah.
What someone as prolific a sportsman as you, how have you not managed to speak on Ireland's #1 radio sports show?
I guess it works. Thank you for saying that and acknowledging my sporting prowess. Secondly, I've never been asked, so I mean that's probably halting me a wee bit.
I should really start thinking by finding out what's been going on for the last while. I know you were away working in the States, so did that just stop mid-show? And any sign or any idea as to when you might kick off again? And then what have you been up to in lockdown?
Yeah, you're right. We were in New York. We were had the whole family out there. Kids about to start school there. We were there for a long run. I was meant to be there for 4 months filming, and then we we're going to stay on a wee bit longer. And I think the next job I was going to do was sort of East Coast of States as well. So we were going to stay in New York and come back here for the summer. Had it all planned as best as you can plan, given what I do and how sporadic and random and hard to predict it is. We had a solid plan in place, and we were 3 days off starting shooting, and we got locked down initially just for 10 days, and then after about 2 or 3 days we realized we weren't going to be back in a studio in 10 days. So that was it. Maybe we decided what was best for that was to come back here. So we live out in the countryside, a couple of hours outside London, so we went back here. And there's talk about the show going up again in towards the end of the year, October time. But I think New York's going to be one of the last places that sort of writes itself, to be honest.
Are we able to know what's in the show? Or
yeah, it's a show. Yeah, it's a show called Dr. Death. It's based on it's the most listened to podcast in the world, 2018. Same name, Dr. Death, about this neurosurgeon specializing in spinal fusion who was maiming people, making them paraplegic, end up killing 2 people, and it's crazy. Worth checking out the podcast. I'd do that. I wouldn't wait around for the show because it could be a long time. It could be a long time waiting. So that's it. So, but if that doesn't happen, then we're trying to get all the things in place where we need to, as soon as able to work again, need to work. My overheads are pretty high, and I've got to keep her lit. So so we've been here, and actually, mate, to be honest, we live out in the countryside so that we can have more space for the kids. So we've got the kids are it's all about keeping them happy, and we've actually been having a pretty nice time. The weather's been great. I sort of said at the beginning of this, I said, if you have time in your hands, and even with kids and whatever, you need to get some kind of schedule. You need to have something in place to keep yourself sane. I said you'll either come out of lockdown in the worst shape of your life or the best shape of your life, because people have the time and you'll be able to have the discipline and to work out if you're up for it. And I've been trying to be pretty good about that. I've been trying to keep myself pretty active, to be honest, because I'd go mad if I didn't, and B, especially it's when your health is being compromised, and there's so much chat about health, and in the mainstream media, you just want to try to do your bit, I guess, and try to stay on the right side of it,
Yeah. You've got one school goer now, right? So
two now. Well, one, and then the
So how's that homeschooling? Have you been partaking? Have you abandoned it at this stage, or where are you at with it?
I've got to say it's got more relaxed as time's gone
on. The world over, it's like half an hour now. It's like the year.
The curriculum that we're following, and the teachers are making these wee videos that they put up, and they're getting less and less attention. And we're being open and honest with the school about that too. Their school's opening up on this coming Monday, and we're having this debate whether it's the right thing or not to send it back. There's only 5 or 6 weeks left, of term. Mm-hmm. I find it interesting, it's like I've been sort of doing mostly maths, which I was terrible at school, and coding. Our 6-year-old's doing, computer coding.
Yeah. Which I'm thinking the coding's not easy if you weren't brilliant at the maths.
Well, no, listen, it's pretty basic stuff. She's 6. It's like, can you move the the wizard from this side of the screen to this side of the screen, and then can you make him disappear by clicking on it? But she loves it, so she's running way ahead, and she's wanting to do stuff that year 3s are doing. She's just in year 1, and so we're having fun. A bit of PE I'm in charge of, and which is just running around the garden. Basically, it's been. But yeah, it's got more and more lax.
And do you, from your point of view, like, do you peak and trough like everybody else and have your moments where you feel a bit crap? Or have you kind of made peace with the fact that, this is what it is. It's a period of time, and glass half full, try and see all the good bits of being able to spend all that time, with your kids, and to see it 3 meals a day, and to always be around.
I think the latter. I think you know me pretty well. Like, I'm a pretty positive person. Like, I'm not saying I don't have morose days or days where I feel down or whatever. And they probably offered themselves to me more mornings than most during this period. I am a believer that you have a bit of a choice in those circumstances to try to put that negativity aside and kick on with the day. And I do think exercise is a big part of that. Like, that can really help, and if you're feeling a certain way and you can sort of flush that out or force your body into a physical reaction, which then changes your mental state. And, we all know what releasing endorphins and all does for your mind. It's only good things. So I'm a big believer in, even if I feel crap, trying to rally and try to make good of the day. And to be honest, a lot of that's taken out of your hands often with the kids, and if the kids are in a great mood and they want to play and stuff, you get swept along with that, and you've often no choice but to go with that, and they can help bring you out of those low moments.
Yeah. What about like, people are on? I was on a Zoom call with someone that I work with, and was with Shane Lowry, and one of the questions came in is, what are you reading in all your downtime during this moment in time? I was like, I've got a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. Are you kidding me? I'm reading 2 pages at night just so it makes me fall asleep instantly. So from someone, I'm sure you probably have to get through a fair few scripts. Have they been coming in thick and fast at the moment, or how does the process work? Does it get sifted through by your agent first?
Yeah, it does. I'm just going to this is my water.
I got to show you this one. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Brian and Amy engraved glass.
Oh, look at that. That's
Guinness.
Should that not be in a special cupboard somewhere?
Guinness cleared that one.
It's been a nice aspect of my industry that everyone's seeing it as this opportunity to try to get and package all these different projects or these scripts that maybe wouldn't have got the attention that they deserved, or there wasn't enough focus on them because everyone was just focusing on what was in production, whatever. And me personally, it's been an amazing thing. There's a couple of things that I'm sort of setting up a production company at the moment with a mate, and we're trying to sort of build our slate and get some stuff on there. A couple of things that we're writing ourselves, and a couple of things that we've got the rights to, or scripts that I was going to do that all kind of fell apart that now we're sort of regurgitating. So I've had loads of time to put into that, and that when time allows, that's where my energy's gone. And it's been great. I've read loads of great scripts, but my main focus has been writing. My friend and I are writing this script together, and it's been massively rewarding. And I just wouldn't be doing it. Like, we've been talking about doing it for ages. I just wouldn't be doing it if I was in New York shooting 14-hour days, 5 days a week. It just wouldn't be happening. So I'm sort of grateful for the time to be able to put into this project. And my wife is a creative person as well, and I got an EP that's coming out in a couple of weeks, and she's also writing. She's writing a musical at the moment. So she has her studio where she writes, and then I have an office where I write. So actually, we try to carve out time in the day where she can work and I can work, which just makes it quite focused. Again, having that schedule, I think you need to have that, or you won't get anything done. Do
you get scripts posted in your letterbox?
No, I wish. Wouldn't that be class? I'd love that. No, I'd love that.
We got one over the back wall. Not for me. Funny for the actors. No one's quite that desperate. No, but one, and titled Amy Schumann, which was nice. Didn't even get her name right. So yeah, that one, I don't know if that's been read yet. Literally chucked over the back wall.
Was that someone just taking a chance, knowing your address and going?
Well, I think Amy had gotten an original script from some guy, and then I met him at the shops, and he was asking had she read it, and I didn't even know that he'd given it to her. But then I don't know whether the second draft of it, I went out to let the dog out for a wee there recently and came across a script on our patio. So I said, well, what's going on here? Oh yeah, some guy messaged me saying that he was throwing a script over the back wall. It was a modified version. So
wow,
looking forward to seeing her perform in that one now in the coming years.
Yeah, that sounds like an instant classic, I've got to say. By the way, it'd be quite a nice story of like the origins of like, and how did you get involved in this story?
It is a great story. It just would want to map out that it would be a phenomenal script to follow suit, but I don't know if it's coming this route, whether that's going to work out. Tell me, so I was looking as well, and Instagram has become a thing recently. It's like a reboot of it. What's going on there?
Don't know, mate. Don't know why I did it. I
feel like is that boredom or is it encouragement? Because you look at movie stars around the world now, and you look at, I know The Rock is an extreme example of that, but he's got 180 million people that follow him on Instagram. And like if a tenth of those, sorry, even 1% of those go and see his movie, it's incredible. So is there a little bit of that, or what's the thinking behind it?
No, truthfully, there's none of that. And I've actually always been one of those people who's been like, I'd rather people just saw you as an actor and they just judged you on your work, and you weren't bringing people to the theater based on having a big following online. It's kind of like that guy. Yeah, more boredom, mate, to be honest. More like, I felt like at the beginning of this whole period, this whole lockdown situation, you were spending more and more time on your phone, and but also that's where we gather information now, you know. And it was like, you know, being around, my wife had Instagram, and you know, that's the only other person I'm seeing. We're all locked down in here together, obviously, and not seeing anyone else from outside. And it just became a thing of like, I'm on my phone so much, and my wife would sometimes see this really interesting thing or get this interesting snippet about something that she's got from Instagram, and I was like, oh, fuck it, like maybe I'll just get it, you know, just get it. And actually, I thought I would just do it quietly, and I thought that if you had it ever and you cancelled your account or you deleted or whatever, I thought it was like a year later and then it was all wiped. And I had this email, I typed in Instagram saying, I wonder, what's that? And so before I knew it, I clicked and it was like, boop, 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 and it's just like redone again. And whether they wanted to or not, all the people who followed me before from 4.5 years ago, whenever I was on before, were following me again.
They were waiting for this moment to not lose anyone. It was like, oh, that's Jamie Dornan. He's never coming back live again. They were just waiting there every day. Still nothing. The ultras were waiting. Those 1.795 ultras are waiting.
I mean, those poor people who would be excited about that. But and now it's just funny how you find yourself using it. You know, I'm just so stupid on it, and you know, I find it hard. Look, I struggle with being a serious person at the best times. So I don't know. Look, there's a part of me that thinks as soon as life is back to normal and pubs are open and everything, all the shops, everything's open again, we can travel freely again, I might get rid of it, because I really was quite opposed to it when life was normal. So listen, we'll see, but like, I'm not putting too much stock into it.
I know you're a really big foodie. What sort of what have you been cooking up? Have you been experimenting? You're a green egg man, aren't you? So what's been going on there? Is that like most of the people a real focal point of your day? Because I can't wait to get to dinner every single day. Literally the most important day. Keeping kids alive and dinner.
Yeah, and listen, and we're pretty similar, and I'm a big dinner person too. You know, I'm not a great breakfast guy. I really struggle with breakfast. I don't wake up hungry. I'm not one of those people. But instead, if I'm in a hotel and someone's cooking for me or something, I'm like, I will eat a big breakfast, but I'm at home, and you know what it's like, 3 kids under 7, you're grappling around just trying to keep the train on tracks in the morning and keep everyone going. And even without school to get them to, there's a lot going on. And, you know, our youngest is only, 15 months. So it's a mad time, so you're sort of dealing with that. But I realized, I'm okay with that. It used to annoy me. I used to be like, I wish I wanted a big breakfast. And, I'm someone who I don't know, like it just feels right to me that I should have a big breakfast, good lunch, big dinner, whatever. And I once saw this interview or read something. Laird Hamilton, do you know Laird Hamilton?
Yeah. The big surfer.
Big wave surfer, yeah. And he was saying this thing about how he never eats breakfast in the morning. He doesn't eat until he's worked up an appetite. And it just really resonated with me, and I've just never thought like that. I've always thought you could sort of force yourself to eat before you do. So now I'll even have even if I train in the morning, I'll have a coffee and a banana or something in my system and train, and then have a proper breakfast at sort of 9:30 or something like that. So I've got into that a bit. Lunch is the thing I really struggle with. I really struggle with knowing what to have. What I want for lunch is a ribeye steak, a load of chips, and 3 different veg. Like, honestly, that's what I could take down.
That's so country. It's like dinner in the middle of the afternoon.
Is it? Yeah, well, maybe it is, but like I'm starving then,
We end up because my parents were both doctors, and they didn't have time in the evening to do it. So we used to always have our dinner. But then when I said that to some of my friends, they were like, "What are you doing? That is such a country bumpkin thing to do."
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And then tea is tea time. Yeah.
Tea is tea. I mean, I grew up eating tea late because my dad is a doctor too, and he used to just not get home till about 8. And we used to have dinner at 8. And actually, the hungriest I am in a day is about 4:30. I don't care. Even if I have allowed myself a ribeye and chips and everything for lunch, I'm starving at 4:30. I'm stuffing bags of biltong and anything I can get my hands on into me. And then eat a massive meal again at 8 once the kids are down,
Yeah.
But my wife's an amazing cook, like really brilliant. I'm pretty good, and I have like a few things that I'm pretty good at. And I sort of looking back now, if we look back at this lockdown period, probably should have pushed myself a bit more in terms of the things that I can cook. But I'm very good at the 3 or 4 like favorite things that I'm good at.
Not over yet. You've got time.
It's true. It's true.
Don't no defeatists. Just
listen. I know.
Start this weekend.
I've taken on ribs, which I've shared the recipe with you.
It was an outstanding recipe.
Great recipe. That's a great book in general, by the way. That's a great barbecue. I'm also just I'm such a meat. Like I'm just meat. I'm so Irish when it comes to food, and with just meat and potatoes. Like, I mean, I could just live on that. I could probably count on 2 hands the meals I've had without meat. I'm talking breakfast, lunch, and dinner in my entire life. Like, I'm just terrible. Like, I'll have, there's so many times Millie will be like, so I'm gonna do this quinoa thing with, asparagus and an egg on top of thing, and I'll be like, and she goes, oh, don't worry, like I'll put lardons in there or something, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. So I can't even envisage eating it without meat in there.
And do you grow some of your own stuff in your garden?
You can't grow meat in the garden, no.
Do you have animals? No.
Sorry.
Do you have any animals? Besides
a horse.
No eating dogs, but do you have any cat?
No, got some bats. Got some bats. Bats are good if you can catch them. We've got a horse. We have 2 goats. We have 5 chickens, and a dog. So it's lively enough. Chickens do about 10 eggs a day. That's pretty good.
Good quality.
Yeah, really good, really good. So we have, and then we grow chilies and some stuff like that. Muck around with potatoes sometimes, but tried to do potatoes for Christmas a couple of years ago. I grew them ourselves, and I went down to pick them up, a few days before Christmas, and I've been in there for a few months, and I was like, this is going to be perfect. And Elsie Dulcie, our eldest, was helping me pick, and she started digging first. She went, she was like, Daddy, I've got one. I was like, oh my God, it's actually working. She pulled out a potato and literally that's they were talking like 16 people we were having over from Ireland for it's like, yeah, let's go
potato fries for Christmas, yeah.
But I like to be better, but you know, it's time and kids and it's time to grow your own stuff.
And who does that? Is that you that kind of tends to the garden, or
you can't even get it out? We have
a rhetorical question, but go on, answer it anyway.
And look, we've a bit of space here, you know. We have a bit of space, so no, we have Max, we have our gardener who's here. He's here 5 days a week. He's here, and he's unbelievable.